Have you ever wondered what happens if a pilot falls asleep during a flight? Let's dive into the chilling risks associated with pilots dozing off in the cockpit. Picture this: a pilot, entrusted with hundreds of lives, drifting off into dreamland while thousands of feet up in the air. It's an unnerving thought, isn't it? When a pilot succumbs to sleep, they lose their ability to maintain control of the aircraft and to stay alert to their surroundings. This inattention can pose a significant risk not only to those aboard the aircraft, but also to other aircraft in the sky. Now let's add another layer to this alarming scenario: slow reaction time. A sleepy pilot might struggle to make the quick and accurate decisions needed in emergency situations. This sluggishness can lead to a loss of control of the aircraft, increasing the risk of an accident. But it doesn't stop there. Long-haul flights can be particularly grueling, leading pilots to experience fatigue. This exhaustion can negatively affect a pilot's concentration and decision-making ability, further escalating the risk of a mishap. The potential consequences of these risks are grave, to say the least. From minor incidents to catastrophic accidents, the harm can range widely. In the worst-case scenario, we're talking about the loss of lives. That's hundreds of people whose fate rests on the wakefulness of the pilot. So, as we've seen, pilots falling asleep during a flight is a high-stakes situation. It's a danger that can have serious, even fatal consequences. But before you swear off flying forever, remember this: while the thought of a pilot falling asleep can be terrifying, there are measures in place to prevent such occurrences. So stay tuned as we explore these safeguards in our next segment. So, what are the strategies used to prevent pilots from falling asleep at the controls? Well, there are several measures in place to ensure that pilots stay alert and focused during their flights. First and foremost, the flight times are strictly regulated. Aviation regulations mandate that pilots must take a break and get some sleep after a certain number of hours in the air. This helps to minimize the risk of accidents due to fatigue or sleep deprivation. One of the most common strategies is the two-pilot system. In many commercial flights, there are two pilots in the cockpit. This means that if one pilot becomes fatigued or starts to doze off, the other pilot can take over the controls. This system not only provides a backup in case one pilot becomes incapacitated, but also allows each pilot to take short rest periods during the flight. Another crucial measure is the implementation of fatigue management programs. Airline companies provide various training programs and guidelines to help pilots manage their fatigue. These programs educate pilots about the importance of good sleep hygiene, the dangers of fatigue, and strategies to combat it. This includes advice on nutrition, exercise, and sleep schedules, as well as techniques for managing stress and improving mental resilience. In addition to these formal programs, pilots are also encouraged to take their own measures to manage fatigue. This might include taking naps during layovers, maintaining a healthy diet and regular exercise routine, and using relaxation techniques to manage stress. It's important to remember that while these strategies can be effective, they are not a substitute for a good night's sleep. And of course, there's the cockpit design itself. Modern cockpits are designed to keep pilots engaged and alert. They are equipped with a variety of alarms and warning systems that can alert pilots to potential problems and wake them up if they start to doze off. These systems are designed to be loud and intrusive, making it virtually impossible for a pilot to sleep through them. It's also worth noting that pilots are subject to regular medical checkups to ensure they are fit to fly. These checkups include tests for sleep disorders, which can cause excessive sleepiness and fatigue. If a pilot is diagnosed with a sleep disorder, they may be grounded until they have received treatment and their condition is under control. Through these measures, the risk of pilots falling asleep during a flight is significantly reduced. These strategies, combined with a strong culture of safety in the aviation industry, help to ensure that our pilots are alert and focused, ready to take us safely to our destinations. Just like everyone else, pilots need their sleep too. Sleep isn't merely a luxury, it's a necessity. For pilots who bear the responsibility of hundreds of lives in their hands, sleep becomes even more critical. The sleep needs of pilots are no different from those of the average adult. Scientific research suggests that adults require around 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night to function optimally. This is no different for pilots. However, the demands of their profession often mean that pilots are awake for extended periods, sometimes even exceeding 24 hours. Such long hours are not just exhausting, but can also impair the pilot's ability to focus, make sound decisions, and react quickly in emergencies. Importantly, the quality of sleep matters as much as the quantity. Pilots need deep, restful sleep to recharge their bodies and minds, but factors like jet lag, irregular work hours, and the pressure of the job can interfere with their sleep quality. Getting enough sleep is particularly crucial during long-haul flights. Such flights can stretch for over 12 hours, crossing multiple time zones and disrupting the body's internal clock. It's essential for pilots to take adequate rest and sleep breaks during these flights to maintain their alertness and performance. A well-rested pilot is not just safer, but also more efficient. They are better equipped to handle the complexities of flying and can react more effectively in unexpected situations. In addition, getting enough sleep also contributes to the overall health and well-being of pilots. Chronic sleep deprivation can lead to serious health issues, including heart disease, diabetes, and depression. Therefore, ensuring that pilots get enough sleep is not just a safety measure, but also a health imperative. So the next time you're on a flight, remember that the person in the cockpit needs their beauty sleep just as much as you do. Ensuring pilots get enough sleep is not just about preventing them from falling asleep at the controls, but also about maintaining their overall health and performance. Pilots falling asleep during a flight is a dangerous scenario that can lead to serious consequences. This is a statement that we've delved into throughout this video, and it's one that's worth repeating as we draw to a close. Let's take a moment to regroup and revisit the important points we've discussed. We started by exploring the risks associated with a pilot falling asleep mid-flight. The three main dangers we highlighted were a loss of attention, a slower reaction time, and fatigue. When a pilot is asleep, they lose their ability to control the aircraft and respond to their surroundings. This state of unconsciousness can pose a threat to everyone on board the plane and even to others in the air. A pilot's reaction time is also dramatically affected when they're deprived of sleep. This can be particularly problematic during emergencies, where swift and accurate decisions are critical. Moreover, fatigue is a common issue among pilots, especially during long-haul flights. Tiredness can negatively impact a pilot's concentration and decision-making capacity, thereby increasing the risk of accidents. However, it's not all doom and gloom. We also discussed the measures that are in place to prevent pilots from falling asleep. Flight duration regulations compel pilots to take breaks and get some sleep after a certain period, thereby reducing the risk of accidents due to exhaustion or sleep deprivation. The two-pilot system in many commercial flights provides a safety net, ensuring that if one pilot dozes off, the other can continue to control the aircraft. Airlines also provide fatigue management training and guidelines to help pilots handle tiredness effectively. Another crucial aspect we touched upon is the sleep needs of pilots. Like any other human beings, pilots need sleep. The average adult requires about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and it's vital that pilots fulfill this need, especially during long flights. Taking breaks and getting adequate rest is not just about staying alert, it's about maintaining overall health and well-being. This brings us to the crux of our discussion. The simple act of a pilot falling asleep can have far-reaching implications. It's a scenario that needs to be avoided at all costs. However, it's also essential to remember that pilots are human, and they need sleep. The aviation industry has recognized this and has implemented various measures to manage and minimize the risk. Through these measures, the balance between a pilot's need for sleep and the safety requirements of aviation can be maintained. It's a delicate balancing act, but one that ensures the well-being of the pilots and, by extension, the safety of all passengers on board. As we wrap up, it's important to remember that while the consequences of a pilot falling asleep can be dire, they are not inevitable. Through careful regulation and management, the risk of a pilot falling asleep during a flight can be minimized, ensuring the safety of everyone on board.